Greetings and welcome to the Procurement Project Plan template. Let's start this off with an introduction. My name is Filipe Brito and I'm your guide for today's template. We at Procurement Tactics have over 20 years of procurement and negotiation experience to share with you. We found that one thing we'd like to share with you is the Procurement Project Plan template. So let's get right into it. Before anything else, let's talk about what the Procurement Project Plan is. A procurement project plan is a document that showcases how an organization can acquire goods and services for a specific project. This procurement project plan serves as a guide for project managers and stakeholders alike in approaching procurement. This includes identification of needs, supplier selection, and contract management. The procurement project plan ensures that managers and stakeholders know the timeline for procurement activities and can assess potential risks that may come with their procurement process. This also includes budget considerations so expenses can align with the project's budget and limits. By providing a clear framework for your procurement activities, you make sure that your resources are acquired effectively and efficiently. It also keeps everyone in the loop so that there isn't any bumping of shoulders when it comes to the execution of the procurement activities. Now we know the basics of what a procurement project plan is, which means we are now prepared to tackle how to make one. There are 8 steps we must take to make an effective procurement project plan, each of which we will discuss one by one along with an extra tip for you at the very end. So let's get right into it. We start off with a clear outline of your procurement objectives. You have to set your goals before you strategize ways to achieve them, which is why you have to know what exactly you want to achieve. List them down to keep track of them, and this will guide you with clarity throughout the making of your procurement project plan. Your project will undoubtedly need specific goods and services, so you should detail each good and service along with the quantity needed, its specifications, and any other unique requirements. This ensures that all your stakeholders understand the necessities of your project and the reasons why it needs to be procured. Now that you have your objectives and understand your needs and requirements, it's time to have a strategy session. Research and analysis are needed for this stage to make it effective procurement strategies, as strategies have to be based on careful thought and consideration. Many factors have to be considered, like supplier capabilities, market conditions, and your organization's procurement policies. This is an important step as it identifies your most efficient procurement methods. It's hard to get anything done without any funding, so it's essential for you to create a budget for your project. This is also to ensure that you don't go overboard and limit yourself when it comes to finances. A realistic budget must be established, one that encompasses all anticipated costs associated with procurement. This budget should then be aligned with project constraints and, of course, kept within acceptable limits. Now that you have your budget and your strategy, you are ready to put your project in motion. This starts off with initiating a bidding process with your potential suppliers by having them submit proposals. Processes should, of course, be transparent and fair to attract competitive bids, which open opportunities to ensure the best prices. So you have your bids and now they are all lined up for you to evaluate. Make sure you have predefined criteria for what you want from your suppliers, such as cost, quality, and reliability, to name a few. Whichever supplier meets the project needs and the best deal is the logical supplier to pick. Then it's all a matter of negotiating the contract terms from there. Once you have secured your suppliers and operations have begun for the acquisition of the goods, that does not mean your job is done. This means that your job now is to oversee procurement activities and ensure that goods and services are delivered on time and within budget. This also includes monitoring your suppliers' performance and dealing with any issues that may surface during the procurement phase. By the end of all of this, with all goods and services received, everything must come to a close by ensuring that all payments are made and all documentation is completed. This is how the procurement process is finalized. Post-process review should be conducted to assess the procurement outcomes and find areas of improvement so that future projects may perform even better. Now we have gone through all the steps needed for procurement project plan. But before we move on, we want to emphasize something very important that you cannot take for granted for the entire process, and that is communication. Throughout the entire procurement process, you must maintain open communication with all stakeholders. Things like expectations, timelines, and any changes that may occur have to be communicated to suppliers so that they stay informed. This helps you in aligning supplier efforts to your organizational goals while also managing potential risks effectively. This also ensures that you're transparency with stakeholders during the entire process. Now, to help you along in your procurement project plan journey, we have made you an actionable template that you can personalize for your own uses. The spreadsheet we have made is shaped by what you have learned about the procurement project plan here, which means if you have read this template, you will already have an idea of how to use the spreadsheet already. Now, let's further explore the spreadsheet. Now, to make it easier on you, we have made an example spreadsheet to go along with the blank template that you can fill up. Simply look at the bar that says example below the spreadsheet to check it out. Now, without further ado, let's start looking into our actionable template. First off, we'll start with some of the basic information you need to fill up for the project, from project name to project value. Beneath the basic information, you'll find a dedicated table for your suppliers so that you'll always be aware of who your suppliers for this project are. The project overview comes next and is where you write the basic information and description of the project. Below the project overview is the objective section, and after this is the needs and requirements section where you fill up what goods services are needed for the project, who the suppliers for those goods and services are, and their contact information, along with the quantity and specifications of the goods and services needed. Now, for the last section, we have the program and schedule section, where you list down all the tasks needed so that you can keep up track of them. You will also fill in the person in charge and their contact information. There is also a column in this section for the status of the tasks, which can either be completed, in progress, or needs attention in case there are any pressing matters that come up. The last columns of the section are the deadline and notes columns. We have ensured to keep this template simple but effective for your personal use. Again, we'd like to remind you that the actionable template can be personalized for your needs and can be used as a guideline instead of a required format. And of course, the example further showcases how the actionable template is used to further supplement the guidelines we have used to explain the spreadsheet. And that's a wrap for the Procurement Project Plan template. For more procurement lessons and tips, check out more extensive procurement courses and our other procurement templates as well. Knowledge is always a benefit, and we are always willing to lend a hand when it comes to the betterment of procurement. Once again, I'm Philippe, and we'll see you in the next one.